Welcome to Climate Pulse, where we dive deep into the pressing issues of climate change and their impact on our world today. I'm your host, Rauman, and today I want to share with you a story that begins on the southern coast of Bangladesh. Meet Maya, a 28 years old woman who has lived her entire life by the ocean. It's where she played as a child and where she dreamed of her future. But now, as the waters rise higher every year, she wakes up anxious, often in the middle of the night, unable to quiet the storm in her mind. The waves that once brought her peace now symbolize a growing threat. Maya's not alone. Millions around the world are grappling with the emotional toll of a planet in crisis. Today, we explore the often overlooked mental health impacts of climate change, known as eco-anxiety, and how it affects individuals like Maya. We will discuss why this emotional burden is growing and offer tools and strategies to manage the weight of these climate emotions. Let's move to the part 1, the climate crisis and the mental health. Let's talk about eco-anxiety. As the reality of climate change sets in, many people, particularly young adults, report feeling a sense of helplessness. Research shows that 45% of young people globally feel that climate change negatively affects their daily lives. This anxiety comes from not only the fear of a changing environment, but also the uncertainty about the future. Maya's story is one of countless others. While her village faces rising sea levels, communities in Australia are dealing with wildfires, and others in Africa face relentless drought. The unpredictability of these events, combined with the scale of destruction they cause, leads to feelings of despair and hopelessness. Climate change affects not just our physical surroundings, but also our emotional and psychological well-being. You may have heard terms like eco-anxiety, climate grief, and solastalgia. These describe the various ways of people respond emotionally to the degradation of the environment. For example, solastalgia is the feeling of homesickness or distress caused by environmental changes. People experience it even while living in the same place. But the familiar landscape has changed so dramatically, it no longer feels like home. Let's pause for a moment and think about that. Imagine waking up one day and the place you have always known, your home, your community, isn't the same. How would that make you feel? Now I share some tools to manage climate anxiety. Although climate anxiety can feel overwhelming, there are ways to manage these feelings. Let's dive into a few of the most effective strategies. First, community connection. Isolation can amplify feelings of anxiety. So building or joining communities that are focused on climate resilience is vital. Maya, for instance, finds comfort in joining a local group that meets weekly to discuss how they can adapt their homes to rising sea levels. They not only share solutions but also support each other emotionally, knowing they are not alone. Second, EcoAction. This is my favorite. One of the best ways to combat helplessness is through action. Taking steps, not matter how small, toward environmental sustainability can be empowering. Whether it's planting trees, reducing waste, or advocating for policy changes, these actions provide a sense of purpose. Maya, for example, starts volunteering with an organization that plants mangroves to protect their shorelines from erosion. This simple act of planting gives her a sense of control and hope. Third, mindfulness and nature therapy. Reconnecting with nature can help ease climate anxiety. Taking a walk in the nature, practicing mindfulness, or simply breathing in fresh air can ground you and alleviate stress. Maya finds that early morning walks along the coastline bring her a sense of peace, even as she contemplates the challenges ahead. Fourth, seeking professional help. Therapy can be an essential tool for managing eco-anxiety. Many therapists are now trained to address these climate-related emotional issues. Maya begins seeing a counselor who helps her work through her feelings of hopelessness, reminding her that while she can control the rising seas, she can control how she responds emotionally to the situation. Fifth, building emotional resilience. Resilience training programs are becoming more common, especially in areas vulnerable to climate impacts. These programs help communities not only adapt to environmental challenges but also provide mental health resources to cope with the trauma of disaster. As you see, there are multiple ways to take control of your mental health in the face of climate change. It's important to remember that feeling overwhelmed doesn't mean you are powerless, but taking small actions and seeking support, you can turn your anxiety into strength. Maya's story, like so many others, shows us that climate change isn't just a battle for the planet's health. It's a battle for our mental health too. The weight of this crisis is real, but it doesn't have to be carried alone. By inspiring community, taking meaningful action, and building emotional resilience, we can weather the storm, both mentally and environmentally. While the future of our planet remains uncertain, what is certain is that together we are stronger. We can rise to meet the challenge, not just with policies and technology, but with compassion, care, and connection. Thank you for joining me on Climate Pulse today. I hope Maya's journey inspired you to think about your own relationship with climate change and your mental health. Remember, even when things feel out of control, there are steps you can take to find balance and hope. Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with some practical tools to help you manage climate-related anxiety. Here, climate psychologists, an online network of therapists who specialize in climate anxiety and trauma. You can find some local support groups. Look for environmental action groups in your community. There are mindfulness apps you can try. Apps like Headspace and Calm offer meditations specially designed for managing anxiety. There are books on climate and mental health. Check out The Climate Cure by Jack Adam Weber or Living in the Anthropocene by Paul Stoller for the depth strategies on how to cope with climate grief and anxiety. So thank you for being part of this conversation. Remember, addressing climate change isn't just about saving the planet. It's about protecting ourselves, our communities, and our mental health. Until next time, stay grounded and stay hopeful. This has been Climate Pulse, your source for understanding the climate change. Join us next time as we continue to explore this global challenge, featuring expert guests and inspiring stories from around the world. Until then, take care and remember, hope is a powerful tool. Peace be upon you all. Take care.